This is Aaron Hobson with Rhinebeck School of Music, and in this video we're going to learn all about suspended chords. We're going to talk about the theory, how to form them, and I'm going to give you tons of song examples to apply these chords. So maybe you've come across a chord chart at one point that said sus, sus2, sus4, and you weren't really sure what that meant. So the sus is short for suspended. You can suspend your major chords, dominant 7, and your minor chords. And you can do that by removing the third of the chord and favoring the perfect fourth or the major second. So for example, I'm going to do this on a D chord. So D is a major chord. So my third is going to be F sharp. If I take that F sharp up a half step to the perfect fourth, which is G, now I have a D sus4. If I take that same major third and I move it back a whole step to the major second, I have a D sus2. So you can kind of use these on their own, like going between the sus4 and the parent chord, or the sus2 and the parent chord, or you can combine the sus2 and the sus4 to do a little chord fill, which is cool. So a D7 is very similar to a D chord. The only difference between the D7 and the D major chord is that the D7 has a minor 7th in there, a C. So you're going to suspend it in the same way. You have this F sharp, you remove it in favor of the perfect fourth, you have a D7 sus4, you remove the third and replace it with the major second, and you have a D7 sus2. And like I said, you can also do these on minor chords. So here's a D minor. If you take that F, the minor third, move it up a whole step to G, you have a D sus4. And if you remove it, going back a half step from F to E to the major second, you have a D sus2. So suspended chords don't have a major or minor third, and major and minor thirds are what define a chord as sounding bright, happy, sad, etc. So when you remove the third, you get this kind of more neutral, ambiguous sound. It's not major, it's not minor. It might be a little dissonant, a little tense to your ear. It's just adding a color to the chord, something that's not normally there, to create a little bit more interest. Okay, so let's get to some song examples. First one is Tangled Up in Blue by Bob Dylan. So here's your A chord. Here's the major third. If you move it up a half step, you get an A sus4, or A suspended 4. So the whole intro of this song goes back and forth between the A and the A sus4. So here it is. Early one morning the sun was shining and I was lying in bed, wondering if she changed at all, if her hair was still red. So just the intro of the song has that A to A sus4. Here's another intro to a song, this one off of the D chord. So here's my D, here's my F sharp. If I move that up a half step, I have a D sus4. So here's Crazy Little Thing Called Love by Queen. This thing called love, I just can't handle it. This thing called love, I must get round to it. Are you ready? Crazy little thing called love. So again, another intro to a song, just going off the major chord to the sus4. Now here's a song that's entirely off of both of those chords. You have a D sus4 and an A sus4. So you might recognize this one. It has a very distinct melody, distinct chord melody. This is Free Fallin' by Tom Petty. Free fallin', and I'm free. Next up, we have a song that has an A suspended 4, as well as a D suspended 2. This one is Fake Plastic Trees by Radiohead. The green plastic watering can for the fake Chinese rubber plant. The fake plastic earth. Alright, here's one where the whole verse is off of a G to a G suspended 4. So to make that G sus4, you have a little bit of a different fingering. If you're used to playing your G chord like this, you kind of have to reconfigure like that. And this B here, the major third, goes up to a C. So you're kind of going back and forth just between those two chords. This one is One Hand in My Pocket by Alanis Morissette. I'm broke, but I'm happy. I'm poor, but I'm kind. I'm short, but I'm healthy, yeah. I'm high, but I'm grounded. I'm sane, but I'm overwhelmed. I'm lost, but I'm hopeful, baby. Here's another one with a G sus4, but taking that F shape and moving it here. So now you've got your B of your G chord there, moving it up a half step to the C and back. So this is Old Love by Eric Clapton. Alright, moving along, we have an E sus4. And now the E sus4, here's your E chord. Here's your major third, the G sharp. You just add your pinky, move it up to the A. Now you're suspending the 4 on that E. So Wild World by Cat Stevens. Now that I've lost everything to you, you say you want to start something new, and it's breaking my heart you're leaving. Baby, I'm grieving. This next example is off of the dominant 7 chord. So if you have an A7, you add that D, and I'm adding an extra G up here too, which is the minor 7th of the chord. Alright, so... And then also there's a chord fill, which is a very common one in this song. D sus4, D, D sus2, back to D. So this is Closer to Fine by the Indigo Girls. I'm trying to tell you something about my life. Maybe give me a side between black and white. Now here's a song that's built entirely of suspended 4 chords that move that F shape up and down the neck. So again, this is your F shape. There's your suspended 4, and you can move that anywhere, really. So this is Pinball Wizard by The Who. For since I was a young boy, I've played the silver ball. From Soho down to Brighton, I must have played them all. But I ain't seen nothing like him in any amusement hall. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays a mean pinball. So again, that's just your F shape, suspending the 4, going back to the 3rd. Here's another one that's built entirely on suspended 2 chords. So this is going to be an A sus2, and when you bar your B chord, right, this is your major 3rd back to your 2nd. That's a D sus2, and that's an A sus2. So this is What I Am by Edie Brickell and the New Bohemians. What I am is what I am, and what you are, oh what I am is what I am, and what you are. So here's one that's loaded with sus4 and sus2 chords revolving around each chord. So this is Happy Christmas War's Over by John Lennon. So you're gonna have an A sus2, A sus4, a B minor to the B sus2 to the B sus4, an E sus4. What else is in here? Oh yeah, the D sus2 to the sus4. So here we go. So this is Christmas, and what have you done? Another year over, a new one just begun. And so this is Christmas, I hope you have fun. The near and the dear ones, the old and the young. And here's a couple chords that have suspended 2 chords on the bridge. So the first one is Alive by Pearl Jam, where you're going A7, A7 sus2 to D sus2, and then you're going B7, B sus2, E sus2. Is something wrong, she said. Well, of course there is. You're still alive, she said. Oh, do I deserve to be? Is that the question? And if so, who answers? Who answers? All right, and the bridge to Every Breath You Take by The Police, suspended 2 chords. So we're gonna have an E flat sus2 and an F sus2 in that bar shape off the major chord, right? So it goes. Since you've gone, I've been lost without a trace. I dream at night, I can only see your face. I look around, but it's you I can't replace. I feel so cold and I long for your embrace. I keep crying, baby, baby, please. I also featured that song in my video about add 9 chords, because that's a great one for 9th chords as well. So of course there's plenty more where those songs came from, and I've added more to the list that I'm not going to demonstrate. So yeah, it's a little bit of a introduction to the sus2 and the sus4 chords. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you at the next one.